All right, guys. So week 9 is upon us, and you know the drill. We're gonna go through the picks, and I'm gonna make my predictions for each game, and we're gonna take a quick look at last week as well. So as you can see, my season record is 44 and 32, not too bad. And yeah, I got Thursday night wrong again. I think I'm on a cold streak with Thursday night games. That's two in a row. Didn't get that one. Yeah, didn't call it that. Okay. So I haven't gotten a week Thursday night game correct since week 4. It's been far too long, and we're gonna go with the Jets minus a half point. I think this is as desperate as it gets for them. This is mostly about Houston being so banged up. You know, Nico Collins out, Stephon Diggs out for the season as well. They're definitely going to rely on Joe Mixon, run the ball a lot, and yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. Somebody's going to win by a field goal. Hopefully, the kicking situation is better for the Jets after they released Greg Zuerlein. That was just a mess. They could have had at least 2 more wins by now if they had a competent kicker. So hopefully that turns the tide for them, and maybe they can steal a win here on the last day of October. I'm going to go with Atlanta minus 2.5. They say Micah Parsons isn't going to play in this game, and I think that's the only way you can kind of disrupt Kirk Cousins right now. You know, getting some pressure on him, get him off his spots in the pocket because he's just distributing the ball like a master. With all those weapons, it's hard to stop this Atlanta offense right now, and I think they're just going to get better as the season goes on. So I like the Falcons in this spot. I love the Bills in this spot. I think they're much better than Miami. Yes, Tua is going to be better than he was last week in his first game back from the concussion, but still Buffalo is not quite a juggernaut, but they're a really good football team. On the road, at home, shootouts, low scoring games, they can win them all. Let's go with Buffalo there. Um, it's a lot of points for Cincinnati, but I can very well see them blowing the Raiders out. You know, let's say they win by just a touchdown, not quite the 8 points, so close enough. I hope the Raiders keep that game close enough. Let's go with the Browns plus 1.5 here. I think they're actually a really good roster. They're well rounded. They're extremely talented on defense, like everybody knows. I think Kevin Stefanski is a good offensive mind who can um, really get the best out of his quarterbacks, but when he has nothing to work with, it's hard to do anything there. And Jameis Winston now provides an infusion of, um, energy to this team. He's a great passer. He doesn't always make the right decisions. He just misses some throws. He just throws balls to the other team occasionally, but they're much more dynamic on offense than they were with Deshaun Watson. I think Cleveland gets another win there. New England, I think, is a better team than Tennessee. They're both not great. You know, I think they're going to go with Mason Rudolph here. I think New England kind of got motivated after winning that game last week. I think they'll do it again. If not, they'll lose by like a point or two. I like New England in that spot. Um, this one's interesting. You can't really be swayed by the percentages here because there's nothing. I'm going to go with the. You know what? I think Washington's going to be on high alert. They didn't play well last week for most of the game, but they escaped with a win, and that's kind of one of those games that gets you back focused. So I think Washington plays better this week. Um, let's go with Carolina plus 6.5. They're a mess, but New Orleans is also a mess. New Orleans is better, but not by that much. I think Carolina keeps it close. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Ravens minus 9.5. I don't see Denver really having any answer for Lamar. I don't think they've faced a quarterback playing as well as Lamar is this season. Um, this is risky for sure. 9.5 is a ton of points, and Denver is a pretty good team at 5-3. Both teams have the same record here, but let's go with Baltimore. Um, I'm gonna go with the Cardinals here. I think, there's something missing about Chicago offensively. I think I attribute that to Matt Eberflus and his, inability to like create a great system around Caleb Williams. I think if the season continues to um, go off the rails a little bit and not be very as productive as we think they can be, I think Eberflus is going to pay with his job. Speaking of another guy who can pay with his job, Doug Peterson, I think that's too many points because Philadelphia does a lot of things well, but Jacksonville also played a really good game against Green Bay last week. I think they're more than capable of doing that again. Evan Ingram is getting back integrated into that offense. Lawrence has always been a great passer. Um, Travis Etienne might be back. Tank Bigsby in the backfield. The Christian Kirk in injury hurts, but I think they have enough to keep this close. On the road, it feels appropriate to go plus 4.5 with Green Bay. Detroit can't keep, you know, rolling over and completely blowing out every team they face. So I like Green Bay in this spot, kind of a close game, a divisional game, probably decided by a field goal or something like that. If anybody's going to get punched in the mouth, I think it might be Detroit just because they've been playing so perfectly for the past month or so. They might come down to earth at some point. Green Bay's a good opponent. LaFleur is a good coach. At home, they're in a good spot there. Um, I like that pick. The Rams plus a half point feels fair. Yeah, they're playing well. They're confident, and Seattle is. I don't trust them offensively with Geno Smith because I think he's susceptible to the interception. He's susceptible to forcing throws into spots he shouldn't, and that's always a risk when you have Geno Smith. And then here, hmm, Joe Flacco against Sam Darnold. I think Minnesota's defense gets back on track and they kind of make things difficult, maybe turn over the Colts a couple times, and they win that game at home on national television. 8.5 is a crazy amount of points, but Tampa was also on Monday Night Football 2 weeks ago against the Ravens. Similar line, I believe. The Ravens were able to pull away late because of their offensive just prowess, you can say. Just Lamar Jackson having the game of his life, 5 touchdowns, no picks. I don't see that happening with Kansas City here. I think they can win by a touchdown easily, but 8.5 is a little too much for my liking. Yeah, so that's what we got this week. 15 games. The Bucks, Vikings, Rams, Packers, Jags, Cardinals. This is the one I'm probably the most iffy about because it's a ton of points, and they both have the same record. Denver's a good team. They have a great defense and they play people tough. I'm a little bit unsure about that one, but other than that, I think this has a chance to be a really good week. I want to take a quick look at last week. Obviously, got Thursday nights wrong. Divisional opponent that was kind of predictable with Cleveland playing a good game there. Detroit running over everyone. Arizona in Tua's first game back. That was a good spot for them. Atlanta's better than Tampa Bay in every phase of the game, and Tampa Bay's too banged up. Got this one wrong. It felt like Houston controlled the game, but they weren't able to quite cover the 5.5. Philadelphia, they put on a clinic, probably their best game of the year, and Joe Burrow and the Bengals have serious problems. That's a 3-5 roster. Yeah, abysmal by the Jets, no excuse. Yeah, this one was close. This one was close. Credit Jacksonville for making it close and just playing a good game, playing a really good opponent really well. I thought Green Bay was going to be able to get it done. They weren't, but still a good win for them. Thought this one completely whiffed on it, just whiffed. Buffalo outplayed Seattle in every single possible way. Whiffed on this. The Chargers were better. Felt like a lot of points, but Vegas got that one right for sure. Um, yeah, got saved by the bell here, the Hail Mary. And Denver is for sure better than Carolina. Denver's a good team. And Bo Nix is just barely getting his footing in this league, to be completely honest. Yeah, Kansas City has a hard time blowing anyone out, especially divisional opponents. Yeah, and San Francisco is a better team than Dallas, as much as that final score might indicate otherwise. That was not the case. We have two sets of eyes, and we have the eye test to tell us that San Francisco is miles ahead of Dallas. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, played a great game. They controlled it from the start. The Giants aren't as terrible as their 2-6 record might indicate. They're actually, I think, a middle of the pack team in many ways. They have a good defense, and Daniel Jones, when he's not, you know, um, shooting himself in the foot. He can actually move the ball up and down the field. But Pittsburgh played a good game, special teams, defense, they're well coached. So that was a good spot for them. I think I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Got 9 right, and we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 and 7 week over the 16 games. I think we can do better this week, and I'm looking forward to it. So the Jets are absolutely playing for their season tonight. The Cowboys are approaching that territory on Sunday. The Dolphins are playing for their season, I think, on Sunday. The Bengals approaching that. This isn't quite a must-win for them, but it's getting really close. Who else? I'm really intrigued by this one, actually. I think I still have a lot of reservations about the Broncos and um, putting them in that category of being a playoff lock in the AFC. I think they're far from that, but they've played well. I give them credit. I give Bo Nix and Sean Payton a lot of credit, but I think this is a huge test for them, and I expect the Ravens to take care of business. Um, Feels like a must-win for Chicago after last week. I think Eberflus and Caleb need to silence a few doubters there. That's a game you just have to win. They're going to look back at that at the end of the season and kick themselves because they had to win that game and it didn't happen. Jacksonville for their season, they're playing on Sunday. Um, Great NFC North game right there. The Rams can turn their season around again. They can continue to travel on the right path if they win on Sunday. Minnesota looking to right the ship after 2 straight losses, and I feel like if Kansas City goes to 8-0, man, I don't even know what to say. They're going to be in a hell of a spot to run the table here the rest of the way. But how many total points will be scored in Bucks Chiefs? High scoring for sure. Actually, Kansas City really doesn't let a team score more than 25, and they don't score more than 30 themselves. I'm gonna go with let's go with 43 points. Not as high scoring as many people might think, but yeah, that's this week's video, and absolutely we're gonna check back on this next week and see how I did.